shadow in as we go along, and I've left some spaces for some rocks. Hey, that sounded like a nice little drum here. Okay, we're back with the program, Dan. Well, hello and welcome back to Painting with MasterTemple. I'm Dan, and I'm glad you can join us on this fantastic day. Right, we're going to do a nice big painting, so let's fetch you up onto the canvas and show you what we're going to do. Okay, so on this double prime pre-stretched canvas, I've just coated the top part just above here with the linseed oil and some titanium white mixed together about 50-50. Put it all on and then wiped it all off. Crazy, yeah? But it's just enough, just in there, just to give it a little bit of a flavour to the canvas and let us blend the sky. We're going to have a nice misty looking hilly scene today, so I'm going to take some cobalt blue. These are Winsor & Newton's oil paint, so cobalt blue, a touch of red and plenty of white. Just mix it on the brush down there and come up here, and I'm just going to put in some of this just up there like so. I'll just go all the way across, miss some areas just like that. Okay, maybe that's a bit too blue. Okay, so what we're going to do, grab a bit more red, get a touch of black. Not much. And plenty more white. There we go. Then we'll come up here, and that looks a bit of an alright colour. Nice grey tones to that, because the red's in there as well. That's okay. Okay, its hills will start about here. But I just want to get that across like so. Mix that in. Okay, and I'm going to blend all this together with the brush that I put the linseed oil and white together. So maybe grab a bit more white in with that. There we go. And just mist all this together and make it so soft. So soft. And then just put some little, so it's red and black. Black is so much stronger than the red though. Just shadow some of these off and tease them together. Tease. Some there that we can't even see. And then let's mix all this together. Soft blendery brush. And just tease this together till it's all so soft and delicate. All right, so with the sky all done, I've drawn out with a little bit of oil paint. This is just burnt umber. The idea that I've got, and it's just some hills, a bit of mist down there, a little bit of a river down here, a couple of trees, rocky outcrops and all sorts. Okay, but we're going to put a couple of hills right back in the distance here. So let's take this fan brush and a little bit of the blue, and a bit of yellow and a lot of white again, just to make a nice pale colour. Maybe you can't hardly see that. Oh, I'm back there, just like that. Just make this in. Now I might make this side a little bit higher, depending on how this turns out, really. Push this into the fabric. All right, let's work on this hill here. So I've taken a mixture of browns, blues, and a little bit of yellow ochre, and we're just going to drop in a little bit of this dark greeny colour, and we're just going to work his way all the way down here. And if you don't like the sketch that you've put in, if it's too random or too symmetrical, whatever your preference, change it. Just change it. Okay, I'm going to have some mist coming over here, over this part, and we're just going to come down here. Once we're out of paint, reload, but add a little different colour to it. Maybe a touch of brown there. Okay, so with this set of hills all mapped in and a little bit of colour thrown on them. I'm going to take a little bit of white on a soft rounded brush, and I'm just going to tap up here, just above where the top of the hill will be, and just start to bring some mist down onto these hills, just at the top. Mix the white into the hill colour, just like that. Okay, wipe the brush before we reload, touch more white, and just mist that up. Take the top of these hills away. Now you can still see the hills through some of this mist. Not much, not much. Maybe it comes all the way down the side of the hill, wherever we want to put this, very gently. And this brush, I don't know where I got it from. It is a Pro Art from England. Pro Art number 10, Proline. Okay, I think that's the name of the brush. Okay, but it's lovely and soft, really delicate and soft, like a little blender brush, really. Touched all over there. So this hill has got a little bit more of a distinct top. Same up here. Gently blend all this down. Okay, now I think we're going to have to work a little bit on this area here. So I'm going to take a big flat brush, and I'm going to mix up a little bit of greens and umbers, and maybe a touch of red in there, like that. See what colour we've got, and that looks about right. Okay, so we're going to just plough some of this in above all this, just there, like so. And again, we can darken and lighten this as we go along. Just really smush this in. We're going to have some rocks coming out of this, all going to plan. And those trees are going to sit about there. So it's tree trunk and tree trunk. So I want something there to hold them all up with. The tree needs to stand on something, right? All right. So now we've got some dark greens on there that we can highlight and shadow in as we go along. And I've left some spaces for some rocks. Hey, that sounded like a nice little drum here. Okay, yeah, we're back with the program, Dan. What we're going to do now, so we're going to have a little stream, a fast running stream that's going to splash down there and then wander off and go downhill. It's going to be a little bit of a different way of painting streams from what we normally do. Okay, and we're stood on this ledge and there's cliffside here, so I'm going to make up a little bit of a we'll just use some of that sky color, really, a bit of blue, maybe grab a little bit more white and a bit of black, so it's just a gray color. And here and there I'm going to paint in some rocks, and we'll do the same over here. We're just going to put in basically where some rocks will be. This is nice, sharp, jaggedy rocks out here. They're not rolled over, although this valley is probably created by a glacier at some point going through the Yorkshire countryside. These rocks are kind of sharp. Just put some in, and again we can highlight and shadow these as we go along. Just want some basic colour in there, and I think there's some more that come down there, like so. Really push it in. Again, this is dry, this part of the canvas, so we can really layer paint on. Okay, just like so. And we want some across here as well that comes out. I think this little stream is there, so don't want to. We ought to perhaps paint that in at some point before we get too carried away with these stones on this foregroundy part. Okay, we're going to work on his trees up here on this hillside, and I've just taken a little bit of burnt umber, a bit of black, and we're just going to put in on this little flat brush, just a little bit of a tree trunk. Okay, just something there like that. Resharpen the brush, and we'll put another one, something there like so, a little bit wider down there, and we can put some little arms on this tree. Another one that comes off there like that. Ink with it a little bit. Just like so. Bit like that, a bit gnarly. Bit of a gnarly tree. I think that we may have another one just to because we can. That one just like that. looks a bit silly, that one. It's growing downhill. That's alright. That's okay. That isn't growing too much down. Down at the base, we'll put some bits and pieces in down there. Like that. Okay. Okay, so with a nice greeny colour mix, this round brush, let's see what that looks like. Just there, I'm just gonna create some leafy things. I don't want to kill the background, that's why I painted it in. And we'll put some highlights and shadows once we've got this greeny mix in. So what we're using now is a little bit of cad yellow just on the script liner brush, and we're just going to highlight just the far extremities of these leaves, and we're basically painting with the blob of yellow paint, just very gently. Wipe the brush before we reload, grab another blob of paint, just carry on, just picking out these highlights just on the highlight side of the tree. Again, wipe the brush and reload and reapply the paint to the canvas. Wherever these highlights are going to be, that's where we'll put them. Think about where that light is going to hit and where it's not. A bit more. What I do is I wipe the brush on the palette before reloading, rather than wiping it on a paper towel. There we go. And what we can do is just blend the highlight colour back into the tree, but we're not painting, we're not sliding the brush along the canvas. What we're doing is just dabbling on a little bit of paint here and there, just like that. Very nice. Boy, the sun is really catching some of these leaves. I like it. I like it. Okay, with the trees in place, we obviously need some highlights on this grassy area here. So I've still got that grey in from the rocks, but I'm just got a bit of yellow and greeny colour. I'm just going to tap on just a bit here and there. Try and sneak some in between the trees as well. Okay, there's obviously going to be a lot of dirt near the trees, and some shadows cast as well. So we're going to take that into consideration, and we're going to have plenty up here where the light's going to hit. We're just going to keep building layers and layers and layers of these awesome moorland colours. I'm going to put some purples in there as well at some point, because where I live, every now and again, the heather comes out. We get lots of amazing looking heather, moorland, purpley flowers. It looks so beautiful, so beautiful. Okay, on a rounded brush, I'm just going to highlight some of these stones. So just a little bit of a light colour. Just working where the highlights are going to live on some of these rocks. I might need to come back and shadow some out, but we shall see what shape these rocks take. I want to be a little bit ununiform, a little bit crazy. See, I've already done some. It's quite dry. There's hardly any paint down here, so it's very, very dry. Which means we can layer these paints on top of it. You see, still wet on wet, still wet paint, but it's fairly dry. Maybe get another bit of a brighter one on there, like that. With a nice yellowy, greeny colour. Hardly any paint on the fan brush, but just going to neaten up these stones. And again, some of them will be in shadow, so we'll have to come back with the bluer kind of green in the shadow areas. Going to neaten up. Just tap in a little bit of colour. And then we're going to change the flavour every now and again, because we don't want it all same grasses. The colours that we've put down already will show through as well, especially if we put very little paint on. We go, looking good already. And we still need to work on this little stream. I haven't forgot about it. I'll get round to it eventually. Right, we'll do that next, I think. With a mix of blue, white, and a little bit of umber, whatever else we get mixed in here. This is what we're going to paint the water with. This little flat Winsor & Newton brush. So let's go to the water. Blue, only a touch of blue, white, a bit of umber. We're going to add some water down here. And I want it to be fast flowing. It's rushing down the hillside, down the Pennines. So we're just going to put in some water. And you want a really firm brush for this. This is a Winsor & Newton little flat brush. I use this. And then we can highlight this as well. Some very pale watery colours. Brush down there as well. Hardly see it. A bit more paint colour. Really push the paint into the fabric. I will fiddle about with the bank. Just want some basic colouring for the moment. I may paint one or two stones over this as well. So with just a little bit of white on this flat brush, I've just wiped off the blues. I'm just going to cut in a little bit of fast white water. Now, you may need to wipe your brush. What I do is I wipe it on the palette, then pick up some more white. I'm just going to really plow on this white, thinking about how the water's flowing through here and down here. Maybe there's some splashes. We can make out just here that we stones that we can't really see, they're just underneath, and cuts around and wipe the brush, put some in there. If it gets too thick and muddy, just scrape it off with a knife, or wipe it off with an old rag or whatever, and just put it back in. It'll work for you. It'll work. All right, so all I'm doing now is just taking an old rag, and I'm just trying to dampen some of this dark area off. We're quite thick with oil and paint, oil paint, and just soak up some of that oil and get rid of that excess thick buildup of paint. So when we come up here and put his highlights on, he'll have something to stick to. I don't really want to make the highlights really thin, because then when we put some sticks and twigs and little other bushes, I forgot what they were called then. Yeah, we want to as thick as we possibly can have. Anyhow, let's get back to the painting. So a little bit of white, black, touch of red in there, and we're just going to work. This is just a soft, delicate synthetic brush, and I'm just going to put in a few highlights. I think this is mainly on a shadow side, but there's some light coming through, but not like these down here. But I'm going to put a few highlights on some of these rocks that just live out there like that. And we'll work the highlights back. See, I'm not bothered about the edges, because the grasses that we're going to put on top of here will cover up, a lot of the edges of these rocks. There, I'm using a soft brush, so I'm not going to mix the mud. I'm just sneaking in a little bit of blue into the shadowy parts of some of these stones. So gentle, you probably can't even see it on the camera, but they're there. Just a little bit of blue, not on every single one, just to indicate a little bit of deep shadow. Yeah, looks about okay. So I think the stonework's done. So get rid of the brush that we've been painting the grasses with, and then a little bit of the yellows and greens and all sorts. We are going to put some bushes and shrubbery up here, but I'm just going to sit those stones back with the fan brush. I'm just going to tap some of the greeny colours. These stones, sit them down into the painting, because at the moment they just look like they're floating on a hillside, and that's not very good, is it? So just work the grasses into the painting. Okay, so a little bit of umber and black, and no oil. Definitely no oil, not yet. And we're going to try, and this might not flow, so we'll just see how it works. It's not too bad. Just a little stick. And we'll give that stick a friend. That's thick paint, very thick. put a little something on top of that. Okay, just adding a little bit of grassy texture down here, various different greens and blacks and browns. Don't have your grasses all going the same direction as well. Just anywhere where you want them. Of course, they'll be shorter here than what they are right down in the foreground. And add some grass flowers as well, some little dots and things right on the end of the blades of the grass. I think we're about there, maybe a little bit more there. You could do this forever and ever and ever. That's a really thin out paint. Don't like that big block, so we'll just tap that away. There we go. Just a few more blades of grass and wildflowers just down there in the foreground, and I think we're about done. Well, my fantastic artistic friends, that's a big old painting of the hillsides, isn't it? If you like this one, give me a big old thumbs up. Leave me a nice comment as well. Do you recognise this place? It's somewhere in Yorkshire. Subscribe to the channel if you've not done so already. And until next time, take care of yourself. Stay safe. Happy days.